Roy?
Yeah. Thank you, Rep, for this discussion. I mean, you've held a very creditable hearing, and I believe, in terms of, especially the first discussion where you had Representative Williams and Representative Covesi debating and not yelling, I thought that was very constructive. And just my congrats to you for holding it together in a very, contentious, issue. I come in here against this bill, and in fact, after hearing Representative Covesi, I think he's on a better track in terms of how we move forward as a country. But I did take a look at this particular bill, and in reading it, there's some flaws that I think have been brought up, but there was, which I'd like to bring up the ones I saw. But I noticed that even when the ACLU came up here, and he discussed background checks, and he took issue with that particular getting a background check for people who are going to obtain these licenses. And I take issue with his position because in terms of the clientele or the people that we're dealing with, and nothing against these individuals back here. Obviously, they're all, especially some of the younger people, that they can get up here and speak and discuss this issue the way they have. I mean, you have to give them credit. You have to give these young people credit for getting involved with the issue. But when Mr. forget the gentleman from the ACLU, Steve Brown, yeah. When Mr. Brown got up there and he says he's against background checks. Well, as a citizen, as taxpayer, as someone who's been living in Rhode Island all my life, I take issue with him not wanting us to know who is exactly coming into our state, who is going to be driving. And we don't know, these people, obviously everyone looks good, but we don't really know who they are. And if you go into the documentations that were requested, we've all heard issues where these documents can be readily available through consulates or can be made up and presented. But yet, Mr. Brown says that he doesn't want a background check, which goes into Homeland Security, basically checking criminal background checks. And this is, to me, in terms of a security issue, I mean, this is basic. I mean, we've had background checks. You've had background checks. I've had background checks. Why shouldn't anyone else who comes in here and asks for the privilege of driving have a background check? It doesn't make sense. Why would we allow someone who we don't know who it is, who has come into this country illegally, we don't know his background wherever country he's from, why would we not want to determine who these people are? So I think his logic is flawed. I think Mr. Brown's logic is flawed. And I think, in basis of security for Rhode Islanders, I think that's basic, really basic. The other issue I came up when I was looking at, even in the bill, it said that the individuals are not required to take a written exam or to pass a driver's test if they have certain components or presented certain documentation. And to me, I was out there, I heard some of what was going on when you had approximately 200 people in that foyer yelling and screaming. I didn't hear too much English being spoken. So I don't really know, if we can go in there and allow someone to drive a vehicle or drive, without knowing Rhode Island law, and at least being able to, know the regulations and that this bill does not provide for that. Does not provide for that. How they skid through that, I don't know. But apparently Representative Williams has allowed that to happen in the bill she's presented. There was another issue there, and this was brought up by Ms. Costa regarding insurance. There is nothing in that bill that requires the showing of financial responsibility. Now, Representative Aiello mentioned something about, well, you go to get a license, you're not really presenting financial responsibility, but you register a car, you do. And all I could think of, what came to mind was that, what are we going to have? Are we going to have a community car? think of this. It's logical. One person in the community registers the car. That person shows financial responsibility. But yet everyone on that street or whatever drives the car. What's to stop it? What is to stop it? And then you get, or else, and what really, this evening showed, and I've listened to all 6 hours of it, that no matter what laws you have out there, there's a lot of them that are being broken right now. Now, you're the people that are sitting right here, you're making our laws, and these people are coming before you and saying, someone was saying, we don't care. This is going to happen, and we're going to make it happen no matter what we have to do. So you're making the laws, they're breaking it, they're admitting to you that they're breaking it, and what do we do, accept that? I don't see how. I don't see how you can accept that. You're on this committee that's supposed to be the Judiciary Committee, correct? They're telling you they're not following the law. When you these individuals came up here, all nice people, but yet it came up here with all types of hardships, okay? But yet think back. Think back to what our parents went through, our grandparents went through. Nothing was easy. I remember walking 2 miles to school. I had to. My family couldn't afford a car for me. I walked. But they're presenting it as being a hardship, and that we should just go in and fulfill them and allow them why should they go through this? That they deserve something else. Why? We all went through hardships. Why are they any better than anyone else? And that gets back to what Rep. Nardello said in terms of you had a couple of people up here that have gone through the system in the correct way. The system is out there. The system is there. The process is there. People have made choices not to follow that process. I think what's presented to you this evening in terms of if you present this and let it go through, what you're saying is that we believe that whatever people did, the process they followed in the past is not needed. That we're going to allow we're going to allow this to happen, and we didn't allow it in the past. And I don't know if that's a good way to proceed. I think what it does, and people have presented it here, I think what it does is say, hey, this is the place to come. This is the place to, if it doesn't matter what your documentations are, it doesn't matter if you follow the law, come to Rhode Island. I don't think that's the place we want to be. And in Providence, what are we going to do in Providence? $260 million. They're a welfare city. Right now, the state gives them $260 million. Now, is that a very productive city? I'd say no. And I think there's other cities in Rhode Island that are that type of shape. And it's not because of we're very productive in how we're handling things. And I think this just compounds it and just makes it worse. And again, Rep., I thank you for the hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Dempsey. Any questions?